Welcome. This is Naima Singletary here with the fabulous Rachel Abba, who is a supreme mentor to highly sensitive people. And we are here for number 2 in tracking Rachel's progress. So you may be seeing us here for the first time. If you did not see Rachel and I here on YouTube or wherever you're seeing this video, we were here in February of this year of 2022 saying, hey, we are going to track Rachel's progress so you can see what it looks like for somebody who's never sold their transformational services online, offline, ever in any way, because that was your reality, right, Rachel?
Yes, not at least formally as a business, like stepping out as a businesswoman. Yeah,
exactly.
Yes.
Being visible online. So she was very new, brand new to the online world and selling her transformational services online. So we thought it would be tremendously valuable for other mentors and coaches and healers who are looking to become profitable online so you can have the freedom to live anywhere in the world. Rachel is in Canada, okay? You have the freedom to live anywhere in the world, learn the skills and build the muscles internally and externally to be able to monetize your spiritual services online. So to watch that video, to see Rachel as a rookie, green, don't know what she don't know, still don't know, all of us, we don't know what we don't know. And to just see what she was like, hear, how she found me. So you can see how people find you, what they feel, what causes magnetism in your online marketing. So if you like to see that dialogue between Rachel and I, the link is beneath this video in the description. Okay, so go ahead and watch that. This is about 4.5 months. We did that in February, right? So it's been about 4.5 months.
So March, April, May, about 4 months.
Yeah,
4 months.
4 months. And we were actually supposed to be here after 3 months, because in the video, if you watch the video that's in the description here, you'll see where I was like, okay, we'll be back here in 3 months. And we're going to tell you why we were not back here in 3 months. I think it's really relevant to the reality that business is not linear. You can put together a exciting 90-day plan of what you gonna do and have it mapped out, and God is on your side, and by hook or by crook you gonna get this done, and baby, right? Because we get excited, honey, girl. And so we're gonna talk about why it was not 3 months that we were back here and why it's been 4.5 months, but we back. Listen, because we follows through. Just finish. That's it. Completion energy, okay? Because you can do it, period. You just get the support the way Rachel has been supported by me as her coach and mentor in this process. So without further ado, before we get into the meat and potatoes, Rachel, tell these people who you is.
Hello, greetings, everyone. As you already know, thank you so much, Naima. This is amazing. So excited to be back. Yeah. My name is Rachel Abba. I'm a supreme guide and mentor to highly sensitive people. And really, I'm in the business of helping highly intuitive people to really accept themselves as whole and complete beings and, step out into the world to be seen and really feel liberated to become truly successful in the world, their full selves.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah.
And it has been, because even the coach is like in it with the client. And so it's just.
So how has it been for you?
Listen, okay, we can go there. How much? We're going to be here for no more than about 15 more minutes or so.
Yes.
Yeah, let's quickly get through this so you can ask. I like that, Rachel. Okay, so let's start with the beginning. So yes. We're not going to go too much into that because we already did that in the video, underneath this video. You can go back and watch it. But let's talk about what it was like for you to just get started, like month 1 in your business. Like, tell us about how you were feeling, because this was the first time you were getting visible online. Like, the people need to know that you weren't even doing selfies.
So this is really, really important. Like,
Rachel, no, you are long-winded, so I'm cutting you off.
Just stop it with the long-winded. I am very poetic and meandering in my narratives. Yes. So the thing is, as I was starting out, I had no idea, as you said, I didn't know what I didn't know. Yeah. Right. All I knew was my life had to change. All I knew was I was ready to step out. And it had been years of just not being seen. Like literally, I was under a rock. That's how I lived. Extremely private, because again, as a highly sensitive person, that applies to me. I felt very overwhelmed being in the world. I found my interactions with people very taxing on my energy resources. Right. And I just felt very raw. And really, again, you've mentioned before the sophisticated, excuses we come up with. We're very sophisticated in our we as human beings, not Naima, she's immortal. Anyway, so, for myself, I speak for myself, I just kind of, I was in my own world and I didn't have that comfort level at all of being seen. I didn't want to see people and I didn't want to be seen. I felt safer that way. So now meeting this, force of nature that is, Naima Singletary. She's like, okay, you're going to go and do a video and do this and like be seen. And then you're going to go out and you're going to be, all of this stuff, because this is what I signed up for. This is what I said I was ready for. It hit. The reality of it was, you'll see, like in the video we did, I have a way of being really calm and serene and, however, this was all new, not just the business, but everything, like being exposed, having to actually express my thoughts and own them. So the commitment of it, and I think that's the biggest piece, that I would highlight for anyone watching this. I was yet to make a commitment to myself, and the commitment would look like declaring, like making a decision, declaring what it is, what's the vision, and then taking the steps necessary to actually walk it through and then keep on it, right? So the persistence to sustain it and then see it to its organic conclusion, right? That's a commitment. Not a commitment is not saying yes, right? A commitment is that follow through, and this is what the journey was.
Thank you.
In the last 4 months. Yeah.
Let's go there. The word commitment. That is huge. Like that is huge and universal. And Rachel said following through. And what I was calling for you to say is, even when it's difficult, when it's inconvenient, when it doesn't feel good, when I feel like, right? Because there were times when Rachel and I were communicating and you were feeling, well, you tell me what it was. I'd love to hear, where it was just like, you clearly were like uncomfortable. You were triggered. You were like, I'm through with it, So tell us, what was that like for you in the moments where you were tired?
Well, I will say one thing, because I had made, given myself my word, right? And I signed up for this. Like no one came and found me and plucked me out of, my home and said, you must do this thing. I showed up for this, right? I asked for it and I paid for it. So there was no point in time where I said, I'm giving up and not going through with this, right? So to be clear, that was never an option. That was like burn the ships on the beach. That was not an option. The question for me now was, what will this look like, and how, like, what is required of me to keep going, right? Because my experience of it, and here where the triggers, came up for me, where that whole idea of my stories, right? All the reasons why it would make sense, it would be reasonable to get my foot off the gas a little bit, right? So because I'd been dealing with such fatigue and exhaustion, like mental, emotional, it was like I felt so overcome and overwhelmed with emotion that I literally, it was a triumph to get up and shower and just get things done, and just the regular things, not to mention run a business and show up for clients. And do outreach and all the money generating activities required, which I had never really had the muscle for. So, when you start working out, you've never worked out before, and you do, you're literally, and your trainer's like, okay, 5 more, and you're like, seriously? They just, yeah, it's like, you don't understand the burn in my thighs. You know what I mean? Like, so there was that, like, pushback, but at the same time, thank goodness that, the relationship being what it is that we have, the transparency and what have you, and also the decision that I'd already made, and promised to myself.
Yes.
I had to have some serious conversations with myself about myself,
Yes.
right? Saying, okay, this would be a good place to stop and you would be justified. However,
Listen.
it always had to go with the however. Is that you looking for another reason not to do this? What, like, I had to have that conversation because I was very aware that it wasn't really anything that was happening or that it was too hard or that whatever excuse it was more about that, again, that high sensitivity of, will your feelings be the reason why you don't live your dream? Right? And so the idea, and I always say the idea of, what is bigger than this right now? What is bigger than this feeling I have right now? What is bigger than, excuses can come up. Oh, I don't feel, like you've mentioned before, like, I don't feel seen. I don't feel respected. I don't feel honored. I don't feel understood. I don't feel. All the I don't feels. Thank God I have that higher voice that says, yeah, we're quite familiar with your feelings, Rachel. However, what it is, why you're here is bigger than all of those feelings. So I had to keep manually overriding my feelings, right? And taking that step back, as I tell clients, to look at it impersonally, right? And that's the one thing that got me through feeling some kind of way, taking a step back and looking at it impersonally, because whatever is going on here is bigger than whoever else is out there. It's bigger than Naima. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than my husband. It's bigger than my children. It's bigger than whatever responsibilities, obligations, or story I could come up with. And that was my reset. That was what always got me back to the reset of, and you could come and call me all kinds of names, and I would be like, that may well be. However, it's bigger than this.
Ooh.
Right? It's bigger than you. So give me the information I need to go try again. Give me the information I need, or not, I'll go find it, and then I'll report back to you how it turned out. Like, that's essentially where my head was at, to the point where now, and I recall a last call where you went off, you're swearing, you're like, beep, 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 beep. And I was actually like, I was chuckling to myself because none of that mattered, because I got it. Right? I got it. There was a bigger picture. And then that sense of urgency for my life.
I get that too. So first of all, that's what you call commitment. Let me look at our time here because I feel myself. Okay, so 10:30 max, so 12 minutes. I want to really take a moment for our viewers and drive it, really piggyback, because I feel inspired by what you just shared, Rachel. Piggyback on what Rachel just shared. If you plan truly, not just your ego and when it's convenient, when it feel good, when it's nice and but when it's inconvenient, when you feel triggered, when, like Rachel said, you don't feel respected, you don't feel seen, you don't feel understood. And all of that is going on. And you have just reasons to quit. Like Rachel has 3 children. During this process, one of her children had to go to the hospital. A very critical family dynamic happened with her husband. The children were out of school where she had to handle them herself for 3 days. And that happened, 2 or 3 times within this 4.5 months. like real justified reasons where she could be like, well, look, this happened with my husband. Well, look, this happened with my kids. Well, look, this happened. I'm tired. Well, look, like there's always a reason to quit. You need to understand. So when that reason is present, good reason, well, you disrespected me. You said something that made me feel some type of way. Do you think that that's not going to happen when you leave here and go on to the next coach and you go on to the next, move to the next city or get with the next person or try the next project? You think you're not going to have a feeling that's going to hit that exact weakness in you? And that is the very moment for you to strengthen the muscle, because you're not going to live, whether you plan to live the 1% life, the 5% life, the 10% life, the life of your dreams, whatever you call it, whether you're looking for freedom, whether you're looking to work from anywhere in the world and you want the freedom, you want to build up the skills so that you can monetize your gifts online, that's going to be a working. And in that working, you're going to be triggered like hell. Like, so to do that, you got to build up the muscle of, oh God, I'm having this feeling and I feel very justified in quitting. Bitch, because no, right? You're good, very good. Yes, you're justified, quit, bye. Okay, and you're going to do it again 6 months from now, and you're going to quit again another 6 months from now, and you're going to feel justified the whole way. No, because I feel some kind of way. Commitment is following through even when it doesn't. You know how many times I've felt like my coach was being racist toward me. She didn't see me. She didn't even really want me in her program. I felt unsupported. And I said, bitch, well, listen, just what Rachel said, I'm not here for her. I'm not here for her approval. I'm not here for her to see me, understand me. I'm here to get what I came for. And my life, the life that I know I'm meant to live, is bigger than what she think about me, what I think she think about me, how I feel about how she's being in my presence. Stories. Like, what's more important? What I think about you or the life of your dreams? You know, or even what somebody else in the program thinks about you, or argument you have with somebody, or because you exhausted. Welcome to creating a new muscle that you've never worked before. When you hire a trainer, what do? They exhaust your muscles. Because you exhaust them, then you rest them, and they're stronger the next time you work them. That's how it works. Literally, that's how it works. But if you quit in exhaustion, well, forget about it. Forget it. Just give up on the 10% life, the life of your dreams, and go hang out with all your friends.
All your broke friends.
Girl, I understand, girl. Shit, that shit is hard, girl. She tripping, girl. Girl, we got kids, girl. She don't have no kids, girl. She don't understand what it's like, girl. Yeah, okay, good. Go hang out with them. They're gonna support you in that. While all the people who live in the life of their dreams gonna be like, girl, listen, figure it out. That's what they're gonna push through. They're gonna offer you solutions. Right. Enough of that. So that is commitment. That is emphasizing what commitment is. Okay. Commitment is following through when you don't want to. Commitment is following through when it's inconvenient and it doesn't feel good. That is commitment. Completion energy. Complete. Rachel, thank you for that inspiration. So let's talk about the money part. What it was like for you closing that first deal, the energy you brought. Remember, you were like, I'm not closing out this month. I want people who have never sold online before, who've never had a paying client, to know what it's like to go from have never having a paying client, the emotions of that, what it was like for you, the energy of that, to moving through the energy of I'm not closing out this month without a client, and then receiving payment, and what it felt like on the other side.
Yes, I really felt that. I mean, as you've said before, it's an energy game. Like, life is an energy game. And I observed the ebb and flow of, having those conversations, those sales conversations of when I was on it and I really had conviction around what it was that I was offering as a service, as opposed to I'm trying to make a sale. It was like, as a service. I noticed that the prospect matched that. They could sense it, even though it wasn't conscious, right? And when I kind of, was more floppy, then they too were more floppy. And when I was like, look, find a way, and that's how that first sale went through. I'm like, okay, again, a lot of sophisticated reasons and stories as to why they didn't have the money. And I'm like, well, if you believe that you're worth investing in, it's not about, spending the money. This is an investment. You'll find a way. right? It was almost like, within this time frame, we're going to have another call and we're doing this. It was that simple. And we got on the call.
But let's talk about that though, because you are glamorous and elegant and beloved. And so I could see how someone could pedestalize you and be like, well, she's quite eloquent in her speaking. And I don't know, you kind of seem like you've been doing this. Right?
No.
Yeah, that's the point, right? So really talk to the people about what you developed, what kind of coaching and mentoring you got from me. And remember, this was backed by Rachel's decision that she was winning. This is all backed by a decision that she was winning. So talk to the people about what kind of mentoring and coaching you got from me and how you brought that into it. Because as you talk about it, it sounds developed. Right?
No, accountability.
Yeah.
So I began with you the accountability of checking in, right? Every day I check in with you. I send you my activities, right? I send you my activities. I send you my numbers. So that way it's like, I got to do this. And if I'm not doing it, it's obvious I'm not doing it because I've got nothing to say or nothing to declare, right?
Rachel was required by me as her coach to report every day, what are your money generating activities?
Yeah.
So in this with her, she has the accountability of tracking her numbers. Whatever you track grows. So that's a business.
Yes.
Go ahead.
That was a big one for me because I didn't have that in my life at all. And it truly is what you do in one area, you do in all areas. And so this really helped out. So I went from tracking that, and that now translated into keeping clients accountable, right? So if you say, okay, I'm going to see and I'm going to call, I hold you to that. And then I get an agreement on the call because that is the way I'm setting a precedence for how the relationship is going to be. I'm not here for my own highest good alone. If it's a commitment and it's an agreement and we're working together and, I want to see results for you and hopefully you're here to do the same, then that accountability that I started building, that muscle with Naima, now translated into the conversation with the client. So that's what I used as a template to be able to establish that with prospects.
There you go.
Right.
Now, this is important. I'd like for people to hear because especially for our viewers of color.
Our huge folk.
Yeah. There's a lot of us we've normalized working alone in silos. We've really accepted and feel not deserving. And it's very unconscious. We don't feel deserving of help. We're so used to doing 20 jobs alone and sometimes even having a lot of ego and pride around that. Pride around struggle for just the sake of I can do it and look how strong and powerful I can cook, I can clean, I can run a business, I can all by myself. Look at me. Right. And having a level of unconscious pride and ego around that. And so that'll have you're not going to get far. I mean, like nobody really builds a sustainable, successful business doing that. And so a lot of times we don't realize until we get to burnout when we start questioning what's going on here. So Rachel being inside of the structure and the accountability and recognizing that she required help, she needed help, getting that help. So having that structure and accountability, which fuels you with self-respect, transfers over into how you deal with people.
Yes.
You have invested money and you have viewed yourself and what you do, the transformation that you facilitate in people's lives as valuable enough to invest in hiring somebody to help you. There's an amplification of self-respect, which then you feel confident and then you don't feel fraud because you're like, man, I'm respecting what I'm doing enough. I'm holding them in this respect and expecting them to follow through. That translate in how they trust in investing in themselves through you with money. Is that accurate, Rachel?
Correct.
That is it. Okay. So understand that the return on your investment is not just the money you make and the clients you get. It's also in the infusion of self-respect that then feeds into how you are as a mother, a wife in your home, how you are in your relationships, and how you interact with people and how they view you because of how you infuse self-respect into yourself. Okay, very good. So you close that client, and I'm kind of rushing here because we're already so you tell us about what it was like in that call though, right? And like the actual in getting the payment, getting the sale. Yes.
Yeah, it was in that call, it was very smooth because the decision had already been made. We're getting on the call. Yes, it's a yes. Okay, payment, right? So, how would you like to pay for this? Was it in terms of like, through Stripe, or like, how do you want to do it? It was an installment plan, right?
So I want to. There's certain things I like to point to the people, and actually, I think we've spoken about this enough. Because what this would point to again is Rachel had strategy for how to handle enrollment calls. New coaches, aspiring coaches, it's not. You just don't even know that you don't know how to do this.
I could not have done that on my own.
Yeah.
In that way.
Strategy. I sent Rachel a module. It was a 24-minute module on how to, not the screening part, because that was an element that we did in a coaching call, but how to handle the beginning of the
objections and things. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, enough about that. Now let's talk about the middle of this. Like, this is a good time to talk about the 3-month, while we weren't here at 3 months, and what happened with your energy and what you learned about yourself in that. Let's go there. So we were supposed to be here in 90 days, because we said we're going to be starting now. We're going to be back to report on Rachel's results in 90 days, and then we'll be back in 90 days thereafter. And so, but we weren't here. Why weren't we here?
Well, I would say the main reason was exhaustion. The exhaustion I was talking about as a highly sensitive person. Again, the level of overwhelm where it was like just being able to just keep the lights on, like my own personal, like my energies, and I felt as if I was on life support, right? And however, I will say through that, in terms of like activities, and the work continued. So what the deal was for my, spirit guide was, it wasn't about quantity at this point in time. It was about, you're still going to work your muscles. So instead of doing, like legs and arms and multiple reps and things, using a gym analogy, it was, you're going to do stretches. If that's all the energy you can put towards, you're going to do stretches. So I was still doing like follow-ups with people, keeping engaged online. I was still doing my Facebook Live videos. I was, so it was like, you're still in business. You're not going at 100, or you're not going at 80. You might be going at 40, but you're still using those muscles because we're still moving towards your vision, and it'll get stronger. The muscles feel ripped, but they will heal. Take the time to heal them, put the salves on them, do what you need to do, but keep using them so that when you get your strength and you're revived, then you can. So that was the main reason for not the 90 days of literally, I would have been on here like.
Great, thank you. So I'd like to first of all, Rachel managed her mind with power. She was powerful in her mental, okay? And her connection with spirit, okay? So it was, okay, I'm not gonna go 100, and I'm not quitting. I'm going to modify the way I'm working. Okay. And keep in mind, Rachel's in communication with me this whole time. So I'm also watching what Rachel's doing. So we see, and remember,
you're like, Rachel, you're looking tired on your videos.
Sending me her money generating activity. And I let people experience themselves, because their experience is going to tell them more than me trying to, tell them everything along the way. So when Rachel now has this experience where she's exhausted and she's watching her activity and herself throughout the day, we're tracking her activities because she's reporting every day. We see, then what I've recently had Rachel do that really illuminated to Rachel how she's not using her time in the best way. What do we have you do, Rachel?
Track my daily activities, just from 8 o'clock in the morning to when I go to bed.
Yeah. So
track everything I do.
Everything
I do. And I sent that to Naima.
Yeah. I got up at 8 and I drank coffee. Then I got the kids up at 8:30. Then I took a shower at 9 o'clock. Then I did the track it all to see. And then what did you discover in that tracking?
Man, I was busy. Doing a lot of things. I was jumping around like beans. Like, was just like, do this, and I'll pick this up and I'll drop this. how many times I boil water to make a cup of tea that doesn't happen until lunchtime. Like I was doing so much. And that's where I saw my energy expenditure because I
Yes.
spent so much time doing stuff that really I'm like, so it got to by the end of this exercise, it was, I did that for a week and I got almost like I felt indignant. I was like, if the activity is not paying me or leading me to get money in my wallet, screw it. Like that's how I felt, right? So now my children have more chores than they did before. It's amazing. They have more chores than they did before. I'm not making school lunches anymore. My son is, my 10-year-old. I'm not getting drinks. My 6-year-old daughter is getting drinks. Yeah, my little one is putting everything in the bags to make sure they're ready for school. They pick out their own clothes, like all the things that I was like running around doing like this one woman circus act. I started paring down like, this is where my time is going. This is where my energies are going. And if it's housework, cleaning, vacuuming, anything, folding, like that stuff, that happens after, like at the end of the day, at night, before I go to bed, maybe, if at all. My husband is doing more. Yeah, so everyone now, it's like division of labor. So now I've been able to, and then building my leadership muscle of delegating in a more effective way. It's like, I don't need to be doing this because this is suffering. My vision and my dream and my bank account is suffering because I'm looking for socks. Right? So I had to like, what is happening here? So yeah, it was a great insight to be able to really see where, because those things are reasonable, because life has to happen and these things need to be done, right? That's the sensible mind. But what am I supposed to do, Naima? Someone's got to do it. No, it doesn't have to be me.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be me. And those things now in the dream and in the goal is, yes, someone to clean the house, someone to do this, someone to, because those are not things I will mourn on my deathbed. You know what I mean? Those are not things I'll miss. So.
And I think this transitions us beautifully into when we had, because you did that tracking, you were able to really see where your energy was going throughout the day.
It was evidence because I knew it. I knew how, like I'm the one doing it. So I knew, but to see it and to see it like in a timeline. Oh my God, I was disgusted with myself. That's what it was.
And that's the point. So you can really see it. And it's not me telling you, Rachel, because I was telling Rachel, we were having these conversations. We've been working together for 4 months, 3.5 months before we, right? Rachel, this, but people don't, until they see it for themselves, until they make the connection for themselves, until they see it on paper, like, oh my God, I'm chasing socks. Well, you know what I mean?
Right?
No, family meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because it was taking up time. I was spending a lot. I was just wasting energy, which is why I was exhausted. So I figured it out, right? Reprioritize, get support, right? And I might not, I'm thinking, okay, until I can get support in this way, I will just have to do it. I'm like, no, get the support you have available to you now. What do you have available to you now? Use that. Maximize that before you can start making plans for how you want like 5 people on your staff. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? How are you leading with the people you have now?
Yeah, it's mental. Like,
right?
You taking yourself out the game, having excuses, but I can't, and feeling justified. It got to be done. Okay, hold on. I just recognize where time and energy is going. How can I? You always asking, how can I have the solution now? How?
Yes.
And that's
what do I need to know?
That's playing a bigger game. And so now with this clarification, and Rachel just closed another deal, $1,800. Is it okay?
Yes.
Right. And now we're able to see things more clearly because she has accountability. We're tracking. She's committed. We're reorganizing. Okay, this is what's working. These are the money generating activities that work.
Yes.
Focus here. All that energy on chasing socks and heating up tea, water 20 times a day, and doing this and that, putting this in the bag when the kid.
Yeah, no.
Activities, boom, she got a client. And I said, okay, Rachel, as your coach, what would it be like if you got one of these a week? Well, I would definitely be able to get a nanny.
Yeah.
Boom. Now the connection is made for why it's even more important to laser
Yeah.
focus your attention on this one $1,800 client a week.
Mhm.
Okay.
So now what I've done is before the day, so the day before, I actually, and this was you gave me this tip. I believe it was Shonda Sumter, where the whole idea of like prioritizing your tasks, right? So P1, P2, P3. So the things that like are absolutely must have sense of urgency, has to happen within 48 hours. Those are the things I put on my list to do. And those are the only things I do. Life is happening around it, but these are the only things I do until they're all done for the week. And then I go to the next level, within, that can be done within a week or so, the other one within a month or so. You know what I mean? It's so now I've been able to see my like daily activities in the tracking that we did, and then now say, okay, where are the areas I'm required to focus my time and energies. And it becomes so simplified and so distilled down. These are the 5 things I need to do, and I know that those things are directly connected to building my vision and my dream. Right, realizing my dream. If it's not on that list as a high priority of directly connected to my vision, it's not a priority. Today. Yeah, today.
Priority right now. Exactly. So gorgeous, right? So the last thing I'd like us to talk about, so we already over time. Let's do it. Okay. And every time I'm like, okay, we're gonna do it. Sometimes I do it. I mean, 80% of the time I do it. Okay, fine. Listen, I'm bringing this up because this is really important. Something that came through because I was also very tired during this time while Rachel and I were working together. There's things going on in my world. I'm growing and expanding my capacity as well. And there was a time when I was, ooh, honey, I was
done.
3 weeks, like really, just like sleeping 80% of the day approximately. And just so much has shifted for me on the inside as well. And Rachel and I had a conversation where she was resting, I was resting, and we were like really going into I'll speak for myself, and then Rachel, you can add yours. For me, it was I had a situation in Italy where I just felt so, my heart was just so hurting so much, and I was realizing so many things about how I have been working, um, uh, the pain that exists inside of, uh, first of all, the collective pain of humans, collective pain. But I was just really focused on the pain inside of the Black psyche, and a lot, just the depths of it too, though. And I was just doing my own way that I, put my tentacles into the collective psyches and things. And it was like I was really letting myself get into the pain of myself, of others, and what deeply, deeply, deeply drives me. And it was just so beautiful how Rachel and I had this conversation. And this will happen for you too. For those of you who work with your clients, you'll find oftentimes your most engaging clients, you guys will be going through something at the same time in your own way, but at the same time. And Rachel and I were having a conversation, and Rachel says something like, um, and this is how I experienced it, Rachel. So I'm not speaking for you. You can speak for yourself. I'm saying this is how I experienced it, where it was like you were having your own heart pains and heart awarenesses, and you were, and the natural inclination when there is a pain anywhere in life is to pull back. It's no, I don't want to do this anymore. This hurt, right? This is how a lot of people, you get your heart broken in a romantic relationship, and you're like, that shit hurt. I'm not doing that shit anymore. And then you want to try to do a relationship kind of like half-assed because you're afraid of the pain, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the real, here we go, like the real zest of life and the maturation, and to really be able to have the impact. Because what happened for me was And the pain that I was feeling as I was resting in the mountains and just having these extremely honest conversation with myself, and the awareness of just so many awarenesses, and the pain I was feeling was so extreme. Like it was just really, and in that there was so much of me that wanted out. I, I can't like this. I can't like, how
Mm.
am I supposed to like? And I'm like, like who? And so being in that pain and like sitting in it, like having moments where I'm like, I want out, but then having what you ended up saying when we were on the phone, when you were like it hurts, and I was like, the conscious mind is like, I want to quit, but the counterintuitive thing is like, no, go in deeper, go in deeper to that pain. And it was like,
Yeah.
you said that, I was like, exactly, because that's actually what I was in.
Yeah.
And it was just like how I always say life is an energy game. It is, and the energy is the heart, the energy of the heart.
Mhm.
Life is a heart game, baby.
It is.
When I say life is a heart game, I mean winning at life. Okay. I mean, for those of you who are clear that you were born to transform yourself and others, and that you are the medicine, you are the transformation, you are a walking full heart. Joseph Campbell. I'm gonna be
Mm.
this. It's gonna be going somewhere.
Hero's journey.
He said, "Life is a wonderful, wonderful opera, except that it hurts." It is exactly that. And so I was able to touch a place in myself that had I not been in so much pain, I would not have accessed. I would not have had the force within myself to even have the choice to say no, because that choice was there and I would have been justified. I
Of
have a
course.
bounty. I have a bounty of evidence to justify. No, I don't want to do this hard game anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to operate at this level of highness anymore. This, plenty of reasons. And oh my God, I would have been so supported in that by other people who have chosen
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
stop. Okay. And I'm telling you, it's like, this is why I spent the time that I did earlier today with us about commitment. Because commitment, when you are in the dungeon of hell, you got to visit that commitment contract again. That's why I say it's
Again and again.
again and again. It's a recommitment again and again and again and again and again and again. And you will have so much evidence to quit, but what did I commit to? And then
Mhm.
even beyond that, this is why, girl, anyway, when you start operating from the heart, which is the only way to really do life fully, you cannot do life fully just from your head.
Mm-mm.
You cannot, you, the root, the core, the essence is of the heart. There is no, you can listen.
There's a level of surrender and vulnerability, and when, and that's part of the being the superwoman, doing it all yourself, and because of the not wanting to feel that vulnerability, because truly that heart pain feels like death. Like it feels like you're not going to come out the other end. Like at least that has been my experience of it. If I give into this, if I feel this deeply, it's over. I won't be able to function. I'll be done. I'll be taken under. Right. So that has been my experience of it, and what I've learned in the time that we've been working together in this time. And at first it was like the work, da, 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 da. And then Spirit now presented this heart thing. Right. I'm like, what is this? Right. Where it's like, okay, Rachel, to push through and to overcome this exhaustion, it's because your heart's not open. I had done as much as I could mentally, but the level of work and what I said my vision was and who I am and all of this stuff, I did not have access without heart.
Yeah.
This was my like swipe card.
Yeah.
If your heart's not there, you will just exhaust yourself to death, Rachel. So are you willing?
Push. Like, we're done with
I couldn't push through. I couldn't push through that level of exhaustion because the exhaustion was coming from me working outside of my heart.
Yeah.
Because I felt and I truly believed that my heart was unnecessary to get the job done. After all, other people in the world are, but they're like, and the conversation was, no, you, for the work that you're doing and the way you're wired for being who you are, Rachel, it will be impossible to do this work without going where you have been unwilling to go your whole life, which was the heart, right? So I literally had to do an act of, it was like active surrender to being vulnerable, to being asking for support, to being, just completely, in that place to be able to now get access to the knowledge and the wisdom and the resources. Because when I work from the heart, and this is what was revealed to me, when I work from the heart, right, that is my power source. Yeah. And that is a place where it's impossible to be offended, right? It's impossible to, sustain those stories. It's impossible because the heart is not ego. So automatically there is a letting go. There's a letting go of all those things. And then I'm positioned to receive, right? And it is what I receive from that heart space that makes it so beautiful to be able to soar and not be working and straining and striving from that place of doing it myself, because it's bigger than me. So it's like you can keep carrying it and you'll exhaust yourself, hit walls after walls, or you can let go. You can fall into the pain and then access the power and the reserves of the heart and know that you are not alone and you're not doing it by your own energy. You pick. That was literally our last, where we were last, right? The heart. I'm like, okay, and I had to now go through that period of when we were supposed to record, of being in the heart. Yeah. That's where I was, in that heart space of, okay, I'm listening. Yeah. Right.
And that's why I did the live stream when I was in the mountains about tempering the heart, because I feel like I could do a whole series on even what the Bible says about the heart. And,
do it.
This is human work. This is human work. Okay. Yeah. And this is needed among the billions of us. Okay. And to have the stewardship of self and to have the maturity of self, of the heart and the mind and intimacy with the body. Yeah.
Yeah. Last place I wanted to go. But it's like, okay, Rachel, for your business, for your life, for yourself, for your vision, for your health.
So in closing, what would you like to say to the people?
Oh my goodness, where do I begin? I know last time, having the courage to invest in yourself is definitely key. Figuring out, why you here, like, what kind of a life do you want? How do you want to feel? What is your, what impact would you like to have? And just really, take that time to be vulnerable with yourself and ask. I'm all about asking productive questions, right? And really, whatever feels uncomfortable, like embracing that discomfort. And that is where I found my biggest gold nuggets, all the areas and corners where I resist the most, where I want to flee from. That is where I would, invite each and every one of us to be able to lean into that and say yes to yourself.
And what has been the value of coaching for you in this transformation process?
Invaluable. Anyone who has ever, reached, their full potential, made any kind of leaps in their personal development, they've all had mentors, whether formally, informally. They've all had someone who was ahead of the game than where they are, right? Not your peers, which are grateful. Okay, you can do it, rah, rah. But in terms of vision, in terms of being able to collapse time, right? If you want to be able to do something in a month that would take 10 years to do, you require a mentor, someone, a coach, someone who is actually doing and living and experiencing and has evidence in their life of the very thing you're aiming for. And it's an alchemy. We've talked about this before, where there's something scientific about where two or more are gathered. You can look at it biblically, you can look at it scientifically, you can look at it philosophically, you can look at it logically, whatever Lee you want to join. The point is, when two or more are gathered, right? They've even done the test with horses.
Toward a common goal.
Right, toward a common goal, where, you know, a horse can drag only so much weight, but when you put two, they can drag more than double, more than triple what, you know what I mean? And they've not been able to figure that magic element, that alchemy. It's the same thing with coaching. It's the same thing with mentoring, right? If you have a vision or you have a goal, no matter how small, no matter how big, you can't do it alone.
Absolutely.
Fully. You can't do it alone. So invaluable in terms of having that accountability, having the support, you know, and just having ideas to bounce off of, you know, a sounding board. It's a plan, because there's certain things you can't see.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah.
How can people reach you who'd like to check you out, subscribe?
Yes. So you can reach me at rachelalba.com. That is RACHAEL, AB as in Bob, .com. And on there you can find me on Linktree. It's Linktree, and then just put in my name, Rachel Abba. You can find me there. And yeah, I'm online. Just Google it. RACHAELABAH.
So, and we'll put that link as well beneath this video, so you can see, visit Rachel on her website, and then also see part 1 when we were here 6 months ago. Yeah. We're recording this. Today is June 15th, so we're recording this on
15th.
Let's see. We went live in February, and then Rachel got busy in March. So from March till now, she's gotten, we didn't tell the people how many clients you've gotten in this 4.5 months.
In the 4.5 months, 3 new clients.
Yeah, 3. I knew that. You up there? How many? I'm like 3.
No, because I'm there's something happening today, so
yes,
I don't want to
claim it. 4. Okay, Rachel.
4 clients. I have 4 new.
3 paid and 4 on the way. Number 4.
Yes.
Congratulations, darling.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's been growth for me. Like, and that's another thing about engaging clients, that they are fuel for you as well. So thank you so much for your commitment. Thank you very much for your commitment.
Thank you.
I look forward to continuing this journey together. Okay.
Are we meeting again? Are we doing another? Like we said, 90 days and then another, right?
Yeah. So a month and a half, we'll be back here.
Okay.
And so we may go live, we may record it, but a month and a half we will bring an update to you. All right. Lots of love.
Cool. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.